Okay.
Okay, if we can sort of gather, if you still want to look at Frank's paintings on the tables, you may do that. And I'll begin, I like to begin on time. Gathering. If you can visit quietly, that would also help. Okay, let's go over some of our things that we have on our agenda. As you know, we have our fall exhibition going, and Friday is the opening from 6 to 9 at Sago 3 Gallery, and we'll have the award ceremony at 6:30. Trolley Square, second level. Easiest access is parking on the parking lot on the south side of Trolley Square, and it's that south building. Enter, escalator to the top, and there's the gallery. So it'll be fun. It's kind of a tight space for a big building, so we'll see how it works out. Okay, pickup. If you are in the 2-star and signature show, pickup for that is October 17th. If you are in the fall show, the pickup for that is October 18th. And if you can't pick them up, please assign someone to do that for you. And we talked about it at our board meeting, and most of us are remembering there's a $5 per day charge if you don't pick yours up and someone had to gather them and keep them. And it's a donation to the Watercolor Society. Okay, let's see, going down our agenda. We have, Nina, do you want to say something about paintouts now, or you want to wait a minute? I could. Okay, come on up here. And then we'll do Brenda.
This month we're going to go to a really lovely little spot. It's the LDS ward that's the Garden Park ward. It's at 1150 East Yale, and there's a garden behind it. There's parking in front, and you can park on Harvard behind, but the garden side is actually on Harvard. There's a stream, there's some buildings that are quite interesting, and the fall leaves should be just perfect about then. So come out and join us. It'll be on the 19th from 10 to 12, and then we'll meet for lunch after. Good, thank you. I'm going to go around this way.
Okay. And in between announcements, let me just make sure you understand, over on the tables, we have some volunteers sitting, helping you with Frank's paintings. He brought many original full sheet paintings that he has done over the years, and they're $165 each, which I think is a really good price, because it's my understanding that these are $1,800, correct? All of the ones on the easels. So, I don't know. The bargain hunter in me is interested. So Kay's over there, and Roxanne, and I'll be sitting over there when I'm done talking. To take your money, it's cash only. That's the only downside. So if you find something you love, and you can't live without it, there are some ATMs and credit unions fairly close. America First, Mountain America Credit Union is down 33rd. And during the meeting, if you want to look at them, feel free to. Just do it quietly so you're not disturbing his presentation. Brenda, are you ready? We have Brenda from Cache Valley chapter.
Hey everyone. Some quick announcements. The first thing is we have our meeting next Tuesday. Tom Howard, Tom, raise your hand, is the presenter at the Cache Valley workshop, or Cache Valley meeting Tuesday of next week at 6:30 we start. And Tom, what are you going to be demoing? Come on up here. Because Tom is also doing a one-day workshop the following Saturday. The cost is $35. If you are interested in that, see me after this meeting, and I can help you with the registration. Tom, you want to take a quick minute, and then I got one more announcement after Tom speaks.
Okay, so I've been learning about, I've been doing something a little different lately. I've been kind of highly charging an area of my painting with a lot of color. And it's sort of throwing everything, including the kitchen sink in there. And then you pull out of it information that you need to really complete the piece. And so that's going to be what it's about. Cache Valley gave me a hard assignment of doing a city or urban scene as a demo. Try. But then for the workshop goers will be working from an image that I will provide in the morning, and they will work on one of their own in the afternoon. So, yeah, that's what we're planning.
Workshop will start at 10 o'clock at the Logan Library, in case you're interested in that. The other piece, Andy Jorgensen, raise your hand. Andy is our chairman for our exhibitions, and we have our winter exhibition coming up, and we just want to give everybody a big shout out and an opportunity to please enter that. We will do as we have in the past and make arrangements to get paintings ferried from down here up there and they're back down here. The prospectus for that will be coming out shortly, so look for that coming your way. Thanks much.
Thank you. Kay? Oh, I'm sorry. You are so obedient. Kay, are you up next after Tamara? Would you have a minute?
Hi, I'm Tamara Trotter. Tom Howard and I are heading up the scholarship committee for this year. We are accepting donations at a table outside in the hall if you'd like to make a donation. You also will have the opportunity to put in a place to win a drawing to attend Michelle Nixon's workshop November 1st and 2nd. And we'll be doing that drawing right after the presentation tonight. So if you want to get in on that, to go ahead and go out there. Also, November will be our material, books, and used or slightly used material sale. If you'd like to bring anything to donate to the scholarship fund, go ahead and bring that, and we will have a silent auction. That will be for our November meeting. And something new and exciting for this year, if we are able to raise enough money, we're going to try to present 2 scholarships at the Springville Art Museum to high school students. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle Nixon, some of you don't know who she is. But,
Oh, yeah, this light.
yeah. Anyway, she is a young lady who is quite the watercolor sensation at the moment, especially regionally, and she won the big prize at Midway. Watercolorists never do, and so, yeah. So Linda said we have to have her, so she is more than happy to do this November 1st and 2nd workshop, and it's filling up. So we're gonna cap it at probably 22. So get your registration done and in. And I just want to make a quick note, because there has been question. Please read the whole registration. There is no refunds. So if you do register and decide you can't take it, or for whatever reason, you have to find somebody else to take your spot with you. So if we have a waiting list, that's helpful, but we're not there yet. So anyway, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We had a great time with Stephen Henry, by the way, so you missed out on that one if you didn't get to that one. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you. We've got some really nice mini workshops coming up, and we've talked about the fact that they're a little more accessible for a 2-day commitment. So if you can't quite commit to a full 5-day, think about those coming up. I want to wait for Frank to come back in. Again, if you're interested in looking at some of Frank's older paintings, Frank. Or we can just, oh, I'm sorry, no, we're good. Dewey, yay. Dewey and membership. I'm sorry, Dewey.
I'm a membership volunteer clerk right now. The dues that you pay, some of that money goes to software that we need to communicate with you and also to maintain all the records we have. There's been a question as to whether that's working well. So if any of you who read your email did not see an email concerning Michelle Nixon's workshop, would you please raise your hand? So I'm assuming that everyone got that email? Okay, that's good to know, because there was some question about that. I'm passing out membership directories on the back. If you didn't get them as you came in, get one before you leave. You notice there's no mailing address, but I can provide that for you if you need it. There was one time I needed it, and well, Jennifer Love was going to carry a painting of mine up to Boxelli County, and then anyway, the deal was I was supposed to take my painting to Jennifer's house, and I said, what's her house? And I'm the guy, I didn't need to ask directions, I could just find it. I wasted 10-15 minutes of my life because I didn't ask directions. So if you need directions to somebody's house, you probably just want to ask them, the easiest way to get there. If you have any comments about the new directory, I'll be in the back afterwards, you can make comments.
Okay, thank you. You might want to note that it's a different font this year, so maybe that'll help, who knows? I don't know. All right, I'm going to talk about Frank for a minute. Frank, look at me, I'm talking about you.
What's that?
I'm ready to say nice things about you.
Well,
Are you ready?
Go right ahead.
I just pulled a few things off your website, so they're not new. If you haven't looked him up, and you probably have, which is why you're here, Frank is an outstanding artist that we've come to know in the workshop. He's been delivering a really nice workshop. He's a member of the NWS, TWSA, Western Fed, and there's many other ones. I don't know how many initials you have. The few things I picked up about him off of his little blurb was that he experimented with other media before he got started with watercolors. And isn't it nice that he decided to stick with watercolors? And that was in 1969 when he was going to Mesa College. He's conducted workshops for the past 30 plus years, he says. Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, Holland, Belgium, and Ireland, and Salt Lake City. And it's my understanding that this is his last workshop, correct?
And last demo, yes.
And last demo. So this is a momentous occasion, and we're happy that he's ending up here, because that's where all these pioneers ended up, right? This is the place. He has been a taskmaster at a workshop. He expects us to be all fantastic, and I don't know if we're ever going to get as good as he is, but we're happy to have him tonight. He plans on doing an entire painting from beginning to end. And questions, are you open to questions, or would you?
If they're not too difficult, yes.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say, and I'll turn the time over to him. Thank you for coming.
I noticed that all the, just leave the camera right where it's at. It'd be easier to move my setup here. I have 1950 technology here.
Jennifer's your person, she'll help you right there.
Actually, this direction. Yep. There.
I want to be able to get to the bottom there. We are. Okay, cool.
Is that good?
That's cool. We need to
Just
move
move this over a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that gonna work for you?
No, it's not, because can we move the camera just a little bit that way? Okay, I'll put it right where I need it, and then if you can set the camera. You okay? Put it wherever you want it.
Does that work?
That's perfect, that'll work perfect. Yeah. I want to be able where you folks can see everything. And being as big as it is, you can see every mistake, okay? So go easy on me, okay? A few years back, I did a demo in Walnut Creek, California, for the California Watercolor Association. And I got there, and there was over 300 people. And I looked back at the end, and I go, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? And they filmed it and projected it on a 40 by 30 foot screen. You could see everything. Oh man, I'm going love. Okay, are we ready?
I think so.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm with my best friend Gail. We came up and we left Friday from Grand Junction, and we did a little touring of Utah. And our first stop was in Thompson Springs for the Sago Wall of the Petroglyphs. It was really cool. And I'm always amazed at artists. It depends on, it doesn't even depend on what year or what century they had. It's all interesting work. And then we went up to Deer Valley. We went over the mountain, got lost, and drove. Almost got stuck up on top of this mountain. So we got back down, we were in a room, and then we went down and we did the Nubo Loop. The Nubo Loop. Nebo. Excuse me. No, I'm not local. And so that's what, I took a scene of Mount Nebo?
Right.
Nebo, okay. And so that's what I will be doing today, or tonight for you. And yes, this is my last public demo. And it's my last workshop. So I'm really looking forward to becoming an artist that I think I am. I've taught on 3 continents, and it's just time to hang it up and turn it over to somebody else. But I know I'll miss it, and I'll miss meeting all the nice people everywhere I go, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do what I do. So I will start here, and if you have questions, just holler, okay? Or throw something at me, because I'm going to be pretty busy, okay? I intend to do a full sheet demo for you, and I broke my watch band today, of all things.
7:16.
It's all right.
Now I have a pocket watch. Okay, I have an hour and 15 minutes, don't I?
No,
I can
you
do
don't.
it.
Hour and a half.
You go an hour and a half.
You got an hour and a half.
See, the clock is on.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
an extra 15.
Okay, don't believe everything you hear up here, okay? Take everything with a grain of salt, okay? I'm a firm believer in knowing your subject matter, and the only way to know your subject matter is to sketch it. When I was learning this process, I was told to do thumbnails. There's a thumbnail. There's 3 thumbnails right here. And I said, well, I'm too anxious. I want to paint. And they said, well, you do much better painting if you had a little background and a little structure work, design work, and value works. Values are your lights and your darks. But this year, it was in 2017, I was somewhere and I needed a demonstration. So I sat down and I did these 6. And I painted one painting for the demo, and then I found these 2 months ago. And I went, hey, this is pretty cool. And so I enlarged the drawings to here. And last month at Cheap Joe's, I did this painting, and it's on YouTube. It's on my web channel. It's on my website, francese.com. And I have 2 video releases, and hopefully I'll have 3 here. And but what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to concentrate on YouTube and put out a new painting, an hour's worth of painting every month. So I'm still in the arts, but I'm no longer flying hither and thither. And The logistical part of teaching is the hardest part for me, to getting to point A to point B anymore. But it's so important to know your subject matter. And since I do not draw on my paper, this always sends everybody into a tizzy. I do not put any pencil lines on my paper. The minute you put a pencil line down, you lock that shape into mortality, really, basically. You lock it in. When I first started painting in the 70s, I painted my first painting in '69. That's a long time ago. And through the years, I would spend 2 or 3 hours on a sketch, and then I would grid the sketch, and then I would grid my paper, and I'd spend 2 or 3 hours on drawing it onto the painting paper, the page. And then I bombed out on the painting. You know, so I planned too much, so I planned to fail. But you still have to plan in this business, okay? And this is how I have taught myself to draw. Wherever I'm at, I will take a sketchbook and a camera. And it's really cool now with all the new camera devices. In the 70s and 80s, we did have cameras, but you had to wait 10 days to get the image back. So when you're out sketching, so I really had to learn how to draw. And wherever I went, especially in Europe and down in South America and Central America and stuff, people would always be curious about what I'm doing, and I would show them and everything. So it is, if you want to learn how to paint better, well, by all means, learn how to draw. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, and it's a wonderful, wonderful way to spend your time. If I had a choice from painting or drawing, I would take drawing over painting, because it's in essence of where everything starts.
And your paintings are freer without drying them?
Yes. Heavens,
Your
yes.
watercolors come out a little freer without having.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even look like my drawing, but that's okay, because I have a starting point here. This is my starting point, okay? And I start and I paint shapes. If you don't have a line on your paper, you have to rely on shape painting. I'd much rather be called a shape painter than an artist, because that's what I do. I paint shapes. And I interlock shapes together by using design and color and value. And so with those three things in mind, here are some of the drawings I have did for trying to get ready for this demo. I am, to tell you the truth, frightened to death of demos. My friend John Solomon says that each one's a potential train wreck. And he's right. But if I fail, I'll throw another sheet of paper out, okay? But I don't plan on failing, okay?
What do you look for in your value study?
I look for, number one, the whites. As you can see with my paintings, the whites are the most important part of the painting. De Vere's eye go right to the whites, and then they go to the darks, and then they go to the color. I was always taught to leave a little white paper. It's transparent watercolor, so you have no white paint, and so you have to incorporate. Excuse me. You have to incorporate the white of the paper into the painting process, and you can never bring the white paper back to its original brightness if you go over it with a wash. And there are devices, a magic eraser, that can erase washes on paper, but still you can't get it back to the pristine white. So I have just taught myself over the years to just look for the whites. Just look for the whites. And then go from there. And so what I will do is I'll paint shapes first. I'll paint there's three main shapes that you really need to concentrate on when you're painting, okay? It's very simple. You got the background, you got the middle ground, and the foreground. Okay. If you can establish those shapes as soon as possible in the painting process, then you have time to go back and put as much detail into any one of those three shapes that you choose. But disregard the detail at first. What you're looking for is you're looking for big interlocking shapes that will tell the story that you want to tell, okay? We're basically telling a fib here because we have a one-dimensional surface and we're putting a three-dimensional image on top of it. So it's a little trickery, or as my girlfriend says, it's a little magic. And all I look at it is work. And so hopefully when I stop teaching, I'll be able to get that freshness back into my work. I'm really excited about it. But I'm excited about this one because it's my last one. And as I just found out, we're streamed live on Facebook and yada, yada, yada. Here we go. I will show you a couple of examples of what we're going to do here. Well, they're upside down. That all solved that.
No, you had it right. It was fine.
No, you were right.
The camera does it right.
No. See, this is how I it. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, here we go. Okay. There's I taught myself to learn how to paint by painting the Colorado landscapes. And there's always a time in Colorado, in the fall, when the colors change. And there's always a skip of snow around, so that's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to do a winter scene with snow and the fall colors. And they're going to turn here pretty soon, aren't they?
They're turning.
Here.
Yeah, they're already turning.
Yeah, with the rain and the cold weather, they should turn very quickly. This is what it normally looks like in the summertime in Colorado, and I have very little white, and I have to incorporate the white of the clouds. So it's very difficult for me to do a summer scene, but hopefully I can get into it and start learning how to paint. And you would think after 30 plus years I'd know how to do it, but I don't. And I'm not afraid to admit that I don't. But anyway, so there's always areas. This is Blue Lake. It's right below Mount Sneffels in the Mount Sneffels Wilderness area in Ridgeway, Colorado. And it's up above timberline. So, and the lake is that color, basically that color. And Gail and I hiked into it, and it's a 7.5 mile hike. And but it was well worth it. Okay. And now we get into the fall. Okay. This is up Crescent Butte. This is Mount Crescent Butte. I teach up at Mount Crescent Butte there at the Arts Center, and this is one of the scenes that we did last time I was there. I think I taught there 3 times, and they wanted a stormy sky, and so I incorporated the white of the mountain and the color, and with the stormy sky, and it turned out very, very nice. And but as you can see in all these, it's the white of the paper that I really concentrate on. This is up in the Matterhorn Basin. It's up in the Wetterhorn Wilderness area. It's among the Little Cimarron in Colorado. But here, once again, look how brilliant that color is. Okay, I like to encase the color, and I like to put a lot of neutrals around the color. Neutrals. When I comment about a neutral, it is the grays. There's umpteen million grays because I have 25 colors, and if you think, if I mix one color with the 25 and then mix 2 colors with the 25 and 3 colors with the 25, you get umpteen million different neutrals. There's a website called 18% Gray, and it's a photographer work site. It's a photographer's website. But he gets into the theory of reflecting light. And certain grays will reflect up to 18% of the natural sunlight that hits it. And what that means is if you surround your color with a lot of neutrals. Well, then the actual sunlight that hits the page, it goes through the paint, hits the white of the paper and bounces back. Well, 18% will just bounce right off the top and it'll go right over to your color. So basically what it does is it makes your color brighter, if you can understand this process, okay? And for years I threw away all this neutral in my palette because I was worried with just straight green color. And so here in the last 5-10 years, I've been introducing myself to the neutral aspect of it. And I really don't think a person can learn everything in the painting business in one lifetime. I think it's going to take a lot of lifetimes. And I know I'll come back when I'm done here. I'll come back in the future as another artist. I just know that. Because to tell you the truth, my resume is I just barely graduated out of high school and stayed out of prison. That was my resume. I went to work in the carpenter field, and then I taught myself to paint by taking workshops. Okay, so and then I have one more here I want to show you. So tonight we're going to do something like this. We're going to do a very colorful one, and it's going to have snow. It's going to have blue sky. It's going to have snow. It's going to have neutrals. It's going to have green color. And reflecting, let's see, yeah, it's going to have reflecting here, and then it's going to have a light source. When I talk about a light source, it's the shadows. Which way is the sun shining? The sun can only shine from this way or this way. And so it's very easy to figure out what you want. And I figured it all out in my sketch. So basically, all I have to do when I step up to the plate here is to pick what colors I use. And everything. So it's a wonderful way to paint. It really is. And the only thing that scares everybody is that there's no pencil line on the paper. It really shouldn't scare you because we don't need pencils. We'll save the force if we...
Frank.
Yes.
Just hold that painting up because the colors are so much more vibrant on the page than they are on the screen.
Okay.
Just that last one.
Just 1 second here. Let me get my paper situated here, and I'll hold it up for you. Yeah, it's
just for 5 seconds.
Oh, you're right, yeah, wow.
What you want to do is you want to paint your paintings to where you can view them from 30 feet. You don't want to have to goon them. You don't want to end up gooning. You want to kind of see what color that is. Your first application of paint is always your best. Always remember that. So the number one trick in starting a painting is you have to know how much water to use. And watercolor, it's the same as the old mountain men used to say about making coffee. You don't take near amount of water as you think. So if you can get the ratio of water, paint, and paper down, you're way ahead of everybody. And it's important that not only what I do here, but what I do here. Oh, and I sketch with Sharpies. I do the contour drawing in Sharpies, and then I have value pens. This is on my webpage, francese.com. All this is here, but like I say, don't believe everything you read. And it's a wonderful way to work. And here, once again, I have taught myself how to do that. So.
Frank, what percentage of water would you say that there is in relationship to the paint?
I couldn't tell you that honestly.
Okay, you just...
I would be fibbing you, so that's just claim ignorance.
Okay, all right.
I know what works for me.
Yeah.
And it depends on a lot of things. It depends on atmospheric conditions, okay?
True.
When I'm in Colorado with 10% humidity, it's so much different than painting in Florida with 90% humidity, okay? So it depends on where you are, the atmospheric conditions, and then the materials that you use. So I don't have the knowledge to tell you that, okay? I'll paint most of the painting with this big monster here, okay? I love the bigger brush. Big brush, big painting. Okay. Okay.
Do you like to use?
Pardon?
What paper do you like to use?
White. No. I'm using Arches natural white, 140 rough. Yeah, rough. Okay. Your colors should be liquefied. If they were hard in your palette, you're not going to be able to paint this way. Okay. What you're going to have to do is, if you have hard paint in your palette, you are going to have to squeeze the new right over the top of the old. And then by the time you get down to the old paint, it'll be energized again. Okay. You want the paint to run. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, that's okay.
We can adjust the camera.
Can you?
We can adjust the camera.
Can you zoom it out? Well, I'm glad you know what you're doing. I tried that yesterday, and I got it all messed up.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, God bless you,
Just make
Jennifer.
it look like
Whoa. Okay.
Too far? You want to
Bring it back up. Perfect, right there. Okay, and you can see this. You don't need to see all the palette, but you'll be able to see it. I want to get it a little straighter on the bottom. The 1950 technology, I have an old cardboard box cut on an angle, and so I want gravity to help pull the paint. Okay, so here we are, cobalt blue, turquoise. Makes a beautiful, beautiful color. For 40 years I get an itch every time I start painting.
It's your magic itch?
It must be a magic itch. Okay, cool. Okay. Looking at my paper. Just start painting. Yeah, the first row will probably get a little splash back, but that's okay. You go to SeaWorld, you know, and the first 6 rows get it. See how juicy that paint is? We want our paint to be like our bubble gum. We like to have it juicy. Use the side of the brush, and you can cover an amazing amount of territory in a little bit of time. Okay? That looks pretty good. It looks good enough for me. That's all that matters. All that matters is this point's got to be higher than this point. And then after that, it'll all fit in. I know in the first 5 minutes if the painting's going to work. And I have plenty of paper downstairs, so don't worry. We're not gonna leave here until we get a good painting. Okay, I'm just going back in. You have to kind of go back into it and re-energize it, because I did not take the time to soak it and to get the sizing going. Okay, as you can see here, I need to soften that edge there, and I need to soften this edge there. Okay. Because I'm going to have trees go over the top. Okay, what do I do next? Well, out of this mixture here, let's make a neutral. Let's make some neutrals. Let's put a little brown, a little turquoise there, and how about a little green? I don't know, brown. Ooh. It's a dandy. You have to talk to yourself when you do this. Okay, I'm going for my sketch down here. This will be the white snow. I'll come up like this. I'll come down, come over like that. And then it goes just like this. Okay. It's always important to soften edges. What you try to do is you try to have hard and soft edges in your painting. If you can do that, you're way ahead of everybody else. Okay, it's coming over here, and this is a big white area here. Most of it's going to be covered up with the trees here, so Okay, go back here, throw a little bit more brown in that, with maybe a little, ooh. That's a strong color, but it might be a pretty one, we'll see. If it looks like mud, we'll just throw it away. Okay, and we'll go back up, down to there, and then all this comes down like that. See my different neutrals here? See, I went from a gray neutral, I went down into almost a gray-red neutral. And I'm softening this area here like that. Okay, I'll come over here, soften that. Let's see how I soften this. Because I'm gonna go over here, I need to get this all finished off before I go there. Okay, when you use clips, you gotta get that little bit of paint right there, or else when it dries, it will siphon back and it'll make a blossom. See, it's starting to right there. I was broadcasting when I should have been tuning in here. Okay, here we go. Let's go here with that, and a little red and a little brown. Let's see what we can get here. And maybe a little green. Oh yeah, that's a good one there. Okay, we'll come back into the top here, and I have a nice big, I'll pick up that blue there, and then I have these little fingers that come down here with the snow. Down like this, down, and then it kind of just does something like that. You can come back in and touch up that if you want. Okay, come over here, soften this, soften it when there's a hair. Okay, and see that bead of paint? I need to pick it up, I need to pick that one up, and if I run it right there, ooh, that's pretty good. You never know what's going to happen in this business. I'm still amazed by the painting process. You can take such a simple thing as a brush and some pigment, and you can make an image. It's very, very interesting. Okay. I'll finish this little area out here. There's a big finger that comes up there. This comes down, goes up. Down again. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, cool. Gotta talk to yourself in this business. You gotta go, attaboy. Good job. Because no one else will. I can tell you that. No one else will. Okay. I'm gonna try something different here. I'm always amazed at the different neutrals I get. That's almost the same as that. That's not what I need, but this is what I need. Oh, there, right there. This comes down. I have another finger coming down. Oh, I like that. Let's put a whole bunch on there. There, it comes over, and I have one more little white area right here. Okay. And it comes in and hooks into here. Oh yeah, just throw more blue in that, and that will kind of make a different neutral. And we're coming down here like this. Okay, now, okay. Whew. Gotta have a big breather here, like that. Let's soften this edge here. There. And you soften it by using a clean, well, somewhat clean. And then water. Okay, next, I put in the fall colors. I'll get rid of all that. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. This is my Cheap Joe painting rag. Hello, Cheap Joe. I know you were looking down on us. And I was just out there last month, and I'm going to send this towel to him when I get it all ready here. If you ever want to take a good workshop, go to Cheap Joe's and take a workshop in Boone.
Where is it? Where is it located?
Boone, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You ever heard of Appalachian State? Right there in Boone. Okay, I'm using 3 yellows. I'm using cab yellow, car yellow, and Indian yellow. And we're putting, yeah, I love to paint. Car yellow, yeah. It's American Journey, it's Cheap Joe's. There's a artist named Carr. Okay, we're having, I have all the way across here, like just like this. Stand up and just really throw the paint to it. Oh, I love this. It's just, I love it.
I know it.
Okay. When you stand up, you paint from your shoulder. If you're sitting down, you paint from your elbow. So I always stand up. Okay. Now, and into this, I'm going to start throwing some reds, some browns, some turquoise. That'll make a wonderful, wonderful color. Maybe a little blue. Okay. Right. It's not going to work. Okay. This. That might work. Let's see what'll happen. Yeah. Let's go over here, come up here like this. And I'll come here and I'll take a little blue and just put in that mixture there. Let's see, and I'll dump it right there. Come up like that. And go like this. All right. Okay. Next, and I've got to soften this. And this comes down. Let's see, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay. I'm cool. Well, got some drops. Okay. Out of that mixture, go to your green. Throw some green in there. We're making our force now. Okay. Is it okay? What's that?
She's a lot more guts than I ever.
Oh, okay. It's nothing, it's just a piece of paper. If you paint them this quickly and you don't like them, you can always give them to a relative you don't like. Okay, so you can use the brush to make a tree. Okay. Now, this is just my base color. I'm just making the shape of the forest. And then, okay. There's a certain time in this, I'm going to scrape out my aspen trees, and I have to do it right now. It's just a good old butter knife. When I started doing this in the Denver area, you couldn't buy a butter knife in the Denver area. Okay, and then there's a few over here. Aspen trees do not have a taproot. They have, their roots are under the surface and they go along and they pop up. And so I don't need to put all of these in here, but I can. Gotta think like a tree. The branches on aspen trees go up, okay? Spruce trees, they go down. So always remember that. And they always grow in clumps. I used to paint 5 or 6 of these a day. Not anymore. I had a hard time coming up with designs. Yes, is there a question?
Yes, what green is that?
Green? What green is it? Well, it's sap green and viridian.
Vermilion?
Viridian?
Viridian?
But I have all sorts of other
Right.
colors involved. Okay, I see from my sketch I left that white open, but I'm going to get rid of it. Things never tend to work out like you want them to in this business. because it's such a fluid business. I mean, the shapes are changing all the time, okay? This is still super wet up here, okay? Now what I'll do here with this big brush, your second application of paint has to have less water content in it than the first application. Okay? I'm going back into these areas here, okay, and that's still really wet. So, the trick is, right here is the sponge, right here, okay. See this here? I've been using it since I started the painting, and I have collected that much water in that sponge. So what you do is you come over here, you mix your color, the way you want it, and right before you apply it to the page, you just put the sponge right there. And it takes all the excess water out of it. You can make pine trees by using the brush. Come down, just cock it up on its angle there, come down, and now come in there like that. Let's bring that down there. Kind of have an overlap here. I want to get rid of. And I'll bring it on over here like this. And I want some trees there, and then I have trees going up the side of the hill here. Yeah, just like that. You can lay that brush on its edge like that and go like that. Hopscotch it up the hill. You can do that. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, what do I do next? Well, I have a couple of items here that I need to do. I'll have to go to a smaller brush. I'll go to this brush. It's the only reason I carry it is for the really little trees that I need to put in here. Okay, I'm going to have some trees coming up here like this. I'm going to climb up this hill here. I can't go too far up because it's up above timberline. That sure is a pretty little area out there, folks. That Nebo Loop.
It's gorgeous.
I found out that you guys had that fire there a year ago, huh?
Yeah.
Well, was that something? Okay. Recently, as you can see from my paintings, I've been working with, what's that one in the back? But as you can see on the examples here, I'm working with the trunks of the trees now. So you just take a brush. And has anyone ever seen Chenki Cheem do his koi fish? That's how he does it. Just take and you have a thirsty brush, and it just picks it right at it. Just like that. And I'll go over here, do the same over here. There's always trees that are laying on the side there, ready to fall down. And there's always some that are going like this. I need one more here on King's X corner here. I need to get rid of that. Okay. Cool. Okay. You can come in here and do this next. Okay. Come over here. Clean your brush. Yeah, there's an amazing amount of paint that gets stuck up in the halls of land here. And that's the only way I've found to get them out. Okay. Now you can take this. Branches that are coming down like this. Just make a few. I see that's not working, so I'll go to a smaller brush for this. Okay. You just lift them off like this. It gives a very nice little feel to it. But you're really not going to see these until the very end. And I don't want to go too far over here because the more I do over here, it's going to steal the thunder from here. Okay. Plus, this white being this close to the edge, it'll pull the viewer's eye off the page. So you just got to be very careful. Just have fun with this paint. The whole trick to painting is in the actual process of doing it. you're not gonna like the results. I can tell you that right now. I never like what I paint until at least a month or so later. I just put them in mats and sit them around the house and I look at them for a while. And to tell you the truth, some I don't even remember doing. And it was last week. That's a problem. It could be a good problem. Yeah. I think the best thing to do that I can tell you is don't take yourself too serious. Take your painting a little serious, but leave it at that. It's not a life and death situation, okay? Unless you're doing demos. Oh, Lord, here we go. The demonstration is coming to life now. Okay, I'll go to this smaller brush here. It's a number 12 round. I'm just about to get it where it's working nice. I got all the paint off of it. So we're going to come up here and we're going to start working on some trees right now. Okay, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to put a few darks in. That's a little too dark. I'll soften that up just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's start. Now remember, you got to think like a tree here. Just got to just continue to just work at it. This is the mundane part of painting. Is you have to come in and have to put all these in, but I don't want to put too many in. Okay. And I see some of your forests are dead, like up in Colorado. Just makes you sick, doesn't it? You go along and see a forest, but in 100 years, nobody will know the difference. So, and then back here, just pick a couple of these out and just kind of come in. It's still very, very wet. See, if you leave little areas of the second application of paint, then it gives it a little bit of depth. Like that. And who knows, some of this could be aspens that haven't turned yet, so. Okay, now what if I do this? What if I go right straight to a brown? Oh yeah, that works better. Check that out, I better come back and throw some more of that in there. Yeah. Let the brush do the work, okay? Learn to flick it, okay? If there's a big callus right there. And that's from where I rest the brush. That's where it's all worn out. And if you do that, and you hold the brush with your thumb and your forefinger, then you can flick and you can turn that brush, okay? And if you're sitting down, you're like this, you're not going to be able to do it. So you need to stand up. I always stand up when I paint. Let's come in and put a few more in here, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put a light source on, but I want to get some of this going here. You cannot have light if you do not have dark, and vice versa. So just remember that. These have a way of getting bigger. I'm glad I don't have any more paper right there. But I try to do it on this step. That'll be really good paint. This is excellent paint because it's my first application right here. First application. This is the second application, but it is almost as good as this, okay? And so on my darks, I try not to cover all that up. And then you have to become selective. Oh, thought it was a crying towel there, Jennifer. Not her first demo, huh?
So most of the time you're painting back into a damp wash.
Yeah, and wet and wet and wet. Is that what you?
Yeah, but so it's usually a damp wash, and then you're going back in with a drier brush. If you go back on something that's damp. And then there are some washes that you're just like, okay, don't touch that till it's totally dry.
Yep. I think I know what you mean, yes, yeah. Like I haven't touched this at all. And I haven't touched any of this at all. It's
Right.
just right in here, so.
But the yellow was still wet when you went in with
Oh, yeah.
the green side.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure is. Well, where do you see the next step? I'm Gail. I have so much fun doing the light source. Freaks people out. Okay, let's do this. Let's put a little bit here. Let's put something in here. Like that. Okay. I think that'll do. Oh no, the next we're gonna have water. Heavens, I'm getting the cart before the horse. Here, okay, so I need to come up here. I thought it was going exceptionally well.
So where's this location for this painting?
It's the Mount Nebo.
Oh, Nebo, okay.
Mount Nebo.
So local.
Yeah, it's local right over there. So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see a reflection of this. And then right at the very tip here, you're gonna see a reflection of this. So go back to the colors you used on the trees and go, okay, here we go, here we go. And here we go. Lay it in like you know what you're doing. Even if you don't. It's important to make a good statement, whether it's right or wrong. Let's come in here like that and come over like that, and that'll work now. I want a little bit of snow on the front here. Okay, let's go like that, that. Let's clean that, because I want blue and I don't want green. If I have a brush full of yellow and I hit blue, I'll get green. So, here we go. And turquoise. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Work. Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay. Okay, come up here. I need to soften this edge. And I might have waited too long. It's all the hot air I'm putting out here.
The lights.
Yeah. Okay. Then look at that. Let's take some brown here. And you'll see a little reflection coming like this. Like this. All the way up like that. Oh, I like that. Now, yeah. Here we go. Like that. Okay. And right here, we need some more green. Because we're going to make this a reflection right here. It's going to reflect down through here. Like this. Okay. And there would be another little reflection here. That'd be right here on these trees here. I'm going to leave a little bit of the blue. Just that. Okay. Okay, I'll come here, get this brush here. Get brown, blue, red, and green. Please don't ask me what color it is. Put that in like that. Look up here where you got these. We'll throw one in there like that. Let's throw one in there. There you go. Okay. What you could do right here if you wanted to, you take this brush and you could pull that reflection of this trunk here. This one goes like that, and this one goes like that. clip marks. All this paint that's here and there has to come out. Else when it dries, it will siphon back and make a watermark. Sometimes watermarks are nice when you're in high humidity, painting high humidity, say you're down in the Keys, down in Key Largo or something, and you want to paint, okay, I'm looking at this. Okay, the next step. I want you to see my junk.
Storage too, you didn't tell us it was storage.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that holds all my stuff. Yeah.
Great.
That's NASA technology.
There you go.
Well, what you could do if you wanted to, again, here I see, while it's still a little, see this is still wet right here. I can just continue those aspen trees up like that. Yep. Okay. Okay, the next step is a light source. Which I mean by that is which way is the sun shining? Is the sun shining this way or is it shining this way? Okay. Well, from my sketch, I see that I have it running a little bit of two ways. Okay. I'm telling a fib now. Okay. And so I'll do it the way the sketch looks because I really like the sketch. Paintings do not have to make sense. They just have to work. Okay, I got this here, I got this here. Okay, cool. There's three things you have to do. You have to clean your palette because I'm using the first glaze. Have you noticed I have not used any glazes up till this point? Okay. You have to, excuse me. Is there a glass of water somewhere? Or something? Okay. This is a Frank Webb palette. You get it at Cheap Joe's. And it's made for a big brush. There are no reservoirs. So it's made for 2-inch flat. And you can clean your palette very, very easily by doing this. You waste a little of the color doing this, but in the workshop scenario, I don't have time. Time's my enemy. Doing these demos. How much time? Speaking of time, I don't have a watch. So.
You're fine. It's only 10 after 8.
It's what?
8:10.
8. Oh, I got till 9?
Yeah, you're
Oh, let's go have coffee.
Here we go.
This is going to go very quickly. I should have this done in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah. I don't want to take all day to do a painting. You know, I have other things to do.
Do you fish?
And that's, do I what?
Do you fish?
No, I don't. To tell you the truth, the last 25 years, all I've been doing is catching airplanes and teaching. So it will be nice to have an opportunity to, oh, God bless you. Smirnoffs? All right.
Just don't put your paintbrush in it.
This is God's wine right here. Okay, we have a clean palette. Clean water. Emerald has nothing on us. Let me tell you, we're right up there with everybody else. Okay, oh my goodness. I didn't bring my hair dryer.
Do some downstairs.
Yeah, I have, you want me to get it? Or maybe I'll BS a little bit here, okay? It's down on, yeah, if you could bring one up. This glaze that we're doing only works if the surface is dry. Of the layers of paint, okay? Because if certain areas are not dry, when you run another wash over the top, you dissolve what's underneath it. Okay. And now we're going after what I truly love about transparent watercolor is the transparency of one layer over another. Okay. And so it takes time, you've gotta clean your palette, and, you gotta dry this. Oh, I'm looking at that, it looks different up here.
Oh, yeah.
Always, we always look at the real thing and go, oh.
Oh, so that's what it is. Okay, yeah.
I said, oh.
When you paint, you can never satisfy yourself, so don't even try. Okay? Just enjoy the process. Okay? It's the actual application of paint on the page where you get your enjoyment. And if you're lucky and the Lord shines His light on you, then you're able to sell them. And you just sell them and buy another tube of paint. It's like that hamster going around and around and around. But it's a wonderful way to spend time, and it's a wonderful way to make a living. I've been so fortunate that I was able to travel around and do this. Being a carpenter and coming up, and my first opportunity to take a workshop, it was a week workshop, and so I decided, I was brave, I decided to do it, and then I went back on the job on Monday, and I'm gonna take a week off. What do you do? I'm gonna take a painting class. You're gonna take a what? A painting class? You're gonna be crazy. You're gonna sit there for a whole week and paint? Yeah, I'm gonna love it. And Judy Betts was my first. Yeah, she was in Ridgeway, which is 15 miles down. Yeah, and I was hooked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I ended up taking 5 classes on it. And, but I taught myself to paint, taking workshops and just by actually painting. Okay? You can buy all the DVDs that there are and all the books and everything else, but until you actually have a brush in your hand, that's the only time it makes any sense. But I have some DVDs for sale. I did not make any advancement. Remember the time-lapse series every month, a new one would come in the 70s? Oh gosh, that was a wonderful time. And so that month I painted like Van Gogh, and then something else would show up, Manet would show up. And, do I have a plug now? Yeah, here's, oh, am I ready to roll? Where is it? Oh.
Do you want to go under the table?
Unless you want to put it a little closer.
We'll do it that way.
You almost hit the bucket.
That's okay. Oh, cool. Thank you. Grazie.
Jennifer, you are good.
Maybe. Let's see if it turns on.
The trip,
It's the red one. Try it.
Just there. As this paint dries, it becomes lighter. So what you have to do is you have to, in the initial painting process, on the side, like, you have to get your paint the right value. When I say value, light and dark, okay? Because when it dries, it's gonna, as the paper opens up, it gets wet and opens up and accepts the paint seeps down into the paper, and then it loses its intensity, okay? So if you put the color on and you think you're ruining the painting, it'll be perfect. But if you put it on and if it's perfect when it's wet, it's gonna not be perfect when it dries, okay? So there's all sorts of little idiosyncrasies to this. I'm limited by my cord right here.
Oh, there's another one.
There's one here. Okay, great. We'll get this. We have till 9, right?
You're good. It's only 8:50.
Well, I've got to pull one of these off here. I better not.
Oh, there's one behind you. Look, in stage.
Not be too far away.
Is it too far?
Not long enough.
Just bring this one over.
Well, I can do it.
There, okay, we got it, we got it.
Daughter got married, living at 3 p.m. And the wedding was at 4:30, so I thought, well, maybe we'll be done by the time we do dinner and everything. That was a really nice day.
It has to be on an inland, and, well, we don't know. Okay. I didn't want to unplug the camera. Thank you. Thank you so much, Helen. You saved the day.
So I'm curious, what do you look for in your paint? You're putting on a glaze, and I'm curious if you're looking for paint which isn't going to lift up into the water, or what kind of things you look for in your paint, what you like in paint.
What I'm doing right now is I'm going to be editing. I hope this answers your question, sir. I'm going to run a glaze over everything I want to push back. I can't leave it like this because the eye rolls all around. So basically right now what I'm doing is I'm editing down to my center of interest. So everywhere I put this, it's going to darken it up, okay? Look at some of these here. See, I'm putting this on right here. I'm putting this shadow in right here. And this shadow that comes down over into here and over into here. And the same over there. So basically, I'm going right over the grading color on certain parts of it, okay? And once I do that, it's going to push it back into the viewer's eye. It's going to push it back, and then the color is going to come towards us, okay? So you can't leave it like that because there's no center of interest, okay? You're going to have to zero in on certain areas, and sometimes I like to, if something happens different than my drawing, I will go with it. I can always come back and do the drawing. You know, it's my starting point. And if there's no pencil on the paper, you can do this. Okay, it leaves you a lot of options to change your mind as the painting process goes on. It's a little intimidating and it's a little frightening, but we're doing real good, right? Workshop people, we're doing real well. I finally got them to put their pencils on. Boy, it was tough. But we did. Okay, so what I'm going to use now, I'm going to use the combination of cobalt blue and permanent rose. I have found that those color combinations are the best for this. I do not need any more color here. I need a gray, basically. And I use this 1.5-inch brush only for putting the light source on. I won't use it for any other step. I have these others here. I've had this brush for a long time.
Are all your pigments cheap, Jones?
They're American Journey. Okay. American Journey, yes. And it's strange I have everything just right. Okay, see that there? Now in your mixture of this, err on the side of blue, which I mean by that is you don't need a red mixture here. You need a blue, okay? And like I say, and this is my sketch that I'm going off of, okay? Right here. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to put a shadow on a little bit of this up here and coming down here. I'm going to leave most of this original color because it is the best I'll put some little dots, what we call raisins. I'll put little raisins coming down here, there'll be a few little areas here. And then I'll come over here, I'll completely darken this up here, I'll completely run this over here. And then with the shadow here, I'm gonna come across here, and I'm gonna come across here. So, in essence, we're gonna zero it down to right here will be our center of interest, right here. And if it happens to be a bullseye, so be it. I have painted many bullseyes. What I call a bullseye is you have your center of interest right in the middle of the page. It's important to break some rules in painting. That's what judges are looking for. Judges are looking for artists who take chances, who do things that people normally won't even take the time to do it. So, okay, here we go. Without further ado, it just goes right over the top of that, and it comes down like that, down, over like that, over here, let's come up over like that, bring it down, use the side of the brush, there's that itch again. And then we have some crevices and such here, like that, comes off like that, and come down like that. Here and going like that. Here we go. Little raisins. Okay. Coming over here, you can do this. Just like this. Like this. Coming down here like this. And then this, I'm going to do this. Like that, coming down. Okay. Yeah. Let's go like that. Okay. Okay, we're ready. Okay, cool. Is that okay? Okay. I'm painting here, boss. Some people just have a fit when they do this.
That is cool.
You think it's cool?
Blue's my favorite color.
I'm going to leave a few of these, if you look on these paintings, you can see where I left a few of the trunks, the original color. But this is the properties of transparent watercolor. Right here. Okay, coming down here. Here, I can come up here and I can throw a couple up in here. That pushes that back. See, that'll push that area back in composition. Same with here. And we can come here with that one. Push it back, come down like that. And I see that if I really wanted to be bold, I can do this. Go right over the top of those trees. That tells me there's something out of the composition that's throwing a shadow on this. On your aspen trees, there's always a shadow going up and around and down, like this. Okay. I'll go all the way across here with that, up like that. Now let's see. I had something like this coming in like this, and go up here like that. A little shadow there. I can bring a shadow over there like that. Like this, up here like this, go across. And just for the heck of it, I'm gonna go just like this. Tells me there's a row of trees back behind these that are throwing a shadow here. Over here. Oh, I like that. See how that's pushed that corner back? See? Coming over here. Mix up some more. Okay. trees here will throw a nice big shadow over here. And it'll run a little bit over here. I don't want to go too far. Like that. There. Like that. Okay? And we'll come over here. Do some more. What time? 8:30?
You have another half hour.
Oh, no, I don't need another half hour. I'm gonna be down here pretty quickly. Okay. Reflection is the same here. So, down like that. Come in. Come up here, go like that, cover that up, there, then now over there. Here. Like that, there, there. It's just cover, ooh, I like that. I do. Just have fun with it, you ever like to do this? Just get with it. Get with it. My whole job here tonight is to get you guys energized to paint. That's my only job. And I hope I have succeeded. This goes on here, this is all, okay.
Can't wait to get home and do it.
Well, here, you can finish this. Okay, okay, see, here we go. Now let's see, I need to come over here. I need a little bit. You can make the smallest line or the thickest line you want using this big brush. You just need to have the line weight on it. Across like that. And over the years, I've learned how to do that. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here with a smaller brush and I'm going to dink around for just a second. This is called putzing. You really don't want to putz them. You really want to get in and out of them and call it good. But I need a few more here, I see. And I'll put them in. I can put them in this row of trees with a little shadow going across my screen. Come down. Come down like that. Like that. And just little shapes. Okay. Now watch when I dry this. When I dry this, the color underneath is going to come through. And that's the whole beauty behind transparent watercolor. Is this process right here. Okay, now what this is we just need to dry it. See these street sections going to come out? See them over here? Look how brilliant that color is right there. Oh my goodness.
Was there, not that I care for realism, but was there snow up there already just from a weather
No,
point of view?
I made that
No,
up.
I wondered if there was snow yet.
No, Not yet.
The skiers in the room are curious.
What was your question?
If there was actually real snow up there yet. 'cause
Oh.
of skiing, yeah.
It did snow and I, it did.
Did it?
You're gonna need to put a few little darks in here, like this.
Yes.
And if you use a big brush, it holds a lot of paint. And you can just go through the whole page here. Like that. Let's go around. Okay, here we go. I'm hurrying. The troops are getting restless. And what you're trying to do here is you're trying to find just a few little dark areas that will enhance what you have already done. What happened there?
The bird.
Okay. This is what I classify as the tedious part of painting. Come down here like this, here, yeah. Yeah, like that. Give a little indication that there's a limb that goes down, like that. Same here. Okay, come over here to this one. Come over here, that's not the color, it's a little red. There we go, that'll work. But, you're just gonna have to just, find your way in this business, this art business. It's a wonderful way to make a living, a wonderful way to spend time. Okay. And then come up in here and you just pick up a couple. You don't need to do them all. He said that he did them all. Yeah. But see, I consider that finished now. I can second guess myself, but I try not to. The minute you second guess yourself is the minute the trouble starts. Learn how to use these brushes the way they're supposed to be made. There we go. Okay, let's go here like this. Okay, now, here we go. All this aspen trees have dark bottoms. I'm gonna leave it alone. In all reality, I should have them here, but that's too nice a paint to screw up. I want to give a little more on the aspen trees, and then I'll do this side and sign it. How's that? Okay. You can do a little more with the aspen tree if you do something like this. It's got to be a light vague. Just gives some sort of indication that there is a, there we go. Just like that. If you want to hold your arm off of the page, just do this. Put your finger down and just use this. I paint a lot of paintings like that.
So your arm's a maul stick?
Yeah, it's a mistake. What's that?
I said your arm is a maul stick.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I made mistakes. Sorry, folks. First one this year.
You can tell.
You believe that? I'll say a bridge. Here we go. I'm just about done here. been a great audience. Thank you so much.
Or on the mountains, yeah.
You haven't thrown anything at me or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I see something up here. Down there. Here. Is everything okay? Okay. I'm getting ready to sign my name. Your signature is a piece of paint. It becomes a design factor. And so you have to incorporate it into your painting. I'm dinking around on the edges here. I shouldn't do that. Okay, down here, there's always, down here like this. Like that. Okay. Oh, where water meets snow, there's always a dark line going across there. Okay. Your signature. It's important to learn how to sign your name with a brush. It was painted with a brush, so don't cop out and do a magic marker or something. Okay. And it becomes design. I'm going to put it right here. You only have to spell it correctly. If you have a signature status, by all means, put it on. This is the National Weather Service. Actually, it's National Watercolor Society. Okay, folks.
Hold it up because the colors are different in real life. Oh, yeah.
Well, we'd like to say thank you and farewell.